Now on with the program. As was mentioned earlier, we have with us Shaun Roundy. And you can read his bio in the program. You can see that he's been a member of the Utah County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team since 1999. He's an author, adventurer, teacher, and creator of the website University of Life. We're excited to hear about his experiences. Let's welcome Shaun Roundy.
Thanks, Val and Jennifer and Chamber, for asking me to be here. I'm excited to be able to spend a few moments surrounded by so many great people, and that especially means you kids who've been chosen for this award. And I've got no doubt that your principals and your teachers know exactly what they're doing and that you guys completely deserve this award. You know, it turns out, let me get my... Is that my computer? Okay. What are you going to do? I'll change it when I get home. Maybe I better change it before I get home from the looks I see on some of you. All right, so as I was saying, there are a lot of ways to be great in this world. And you can choose among them. For example, you could be a great athlete. You could train hard, build your muscles, put every ounce of energy you've got into what you do, and perform astounding feats that would amaze the world. And that would be pretty great, but it would not be the greatest kind of great. You could also be rich. You could make lots of money, drive beautiful cars. You could live in a huge house with 10 bedrooms and 20 bathrooms and 30 swimming pools. And that would probably be really fun as long as you don't have to clean it. But that would also not be the most fun kind of great you could be. You could be talented or popular, attractive or powerful, but none of these would be the true pinnacle of greatness. And there's the pinnacle, even though the other one looks like it's higher. It's just because it's closer. There's only one greatest great, and everyone in this room has some of it. And I have a feeling that all of you great kids, hopefully have a lot of it. But you might not be aware of it, and that can be a problem. So I'm going to tell you about this greatest great tonight. But first, let me set the stage with a little bit of background information about something that I've been doing for the last 14 years. Now, you may have noticed that we live in an incredibly beautiful county. We're surrounded by mountains and waterfalls and lakes and rivers, and sometimes they make us feel like we live in a postcard. It's fantastic, and we're really lucky. However, a lot of people go out, and it's also a recreational paradise for sailors and climbers and ice climbers and mountain climbers. You can tell I have a bias for climbing. And cavers. We even have our own national monument that's a cave. And skiers and motorcycle riders. And you can even rappel with your dog if you want. Anyway, a lot of people go out to enjoy our great outdoors, and they're what I would say sometimes embarrassingly unprepared. They think they can climb Timpanogos in flip-flops. They think they can hike all day long with one tiny 8-ounce bottle of water. And they think when they leave the parking lot, just because it's warm then, that they won't need a jacket when they get up to almost 12,000 feet above sea level and the sun disappears over the western horizon. And when that happens, things tend to fall apart. And that's when people call me and my volunteer team of rescuers. The Utah County Sheriff's Search and Rescue Team. In fact, this morning at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's when I got home from a search for an injured motorcycle rider over there above Cedar Hills. So we have about 100 calls a year, and we stay pretty busy. And we do all kinds of things. We climb mountains and cliffs, if that's what it takes. We brave the rivers, which can be very dangerous, so be careful as spring's arriving. We search the lakes on our watercraft and boats. We'll search the caves if you get lost down there. We'll go on by vehicle or foot. or by air, and we'll try and bring you back. And Life Flight and Air Med, they donate a lot of hours to us, so that's great. We've got one helicopter pilot on our team as well. We go up in any kind of weather, any time of day or night. Sometimes it gets a little dangerous. Here's one of our team members. That's a slab avalanche breaking off below his skis. Luckily, he got over next to that little shrub, and it stabilized the snow, and he was fine. Sometimes it's kind of fun. This is my Halloween costume last year. I was the guy hanging with a paramedic underneath there. My costume was a backcountry accident victim. And I really hoped that I could take my entire costume with me and hang out at the mall later on, but apparently they had some other party to go to. Sometimes it's challenging and rewarding. This picture was taken a couple years ago when 3 guys went hiking near Timpanogos Cave, and they decided, and they brought with them a rope that they really didn't know how to use. In fact, they cut their 100-foot rope into 3 pieces so they could each have a piece. I don't know what they were planning. But they down climbed a 200-foot cliff, and then there was another 200-foot cliff, and they realized they were in trouble. So luckily we went and got them. It's fun to hit the little challenges and problems. Like after I rappelled off this tree and everyone followed me down, we went to pull our rope down to use it again, and it got stuck. As hard as we could pull, it wouldn't come off. So everyone, we communicated this on the radio to everyone in other areas, and they were all worried, but we weren't. We knew how to put on a mechanical advantage to make us 3 times stronger, and we just popped it off. So it's fun to solve those problems. The same week, a little girl went on a school trip to Timpanogos Cave, and she was not watching where she was going, and she stepped off the trail and fell 40 feet off the side, and she sustained some injuries. And then over on the other side of Timpanogos, in the Primrose Cirque above Sundance and Aspen Grove, on a 4th of July, this guy was glissading down the mountain after they climbed it, which means you sit down and just slide down the snow. And he was glissading with his crampons on, which are those steel spiky things you put on your boots, which you're not supposed to do. You shouldn't wear those when you glissade, because that caught the snow, and the sudden pressure snapped his leg in half, broke his fib. So that hurts, huh? And then just across Provo Canyon above Upper Falls, this guy was climbing, and he unclipped from his rope too soon, and he fell 50 feet and landed on his face. And so accidents can happen. It's not always because you're stupid, but in fact, it's often not. Accidents can happen to everyone. We don't treat you like you're stupid. We just go and help them, just like you guys do, right? If somebody tells a dumb joke, I know you are not the kids who are like, "Dad, you're so dumb. That was stupid." That's mean. So no reason for that. Here's one of my most fun rescues. Utah Lake is much more dangerous than it often appears. I've seen 4-foot waves kick up in 15 minutes when the storm fronts move through. And those waves, sometimes they tip over the ski boats, like that one I'm sitting on. You can just see the bow sticking out of the water. So this time it dumped 9 kids into the lake. So a friend and I got on our way at watercraft, and we shot across that lake as fast as we can go. And we'd go up one wave crest, and we'd jump it. We'd land and jump the next one. We spent, it seemed like half the time in the air as we went 8 miles, 60 miles an hour across that lake. So that was kind of exciting. And I've got 2 more for you. Here's a kid in a cave who couldn't quite fit through. His rib cage wouldn't quite fit through a spot. So his friends helped him by grabbing his arms and pulling him. And they got him to go past his rib cage, but then it wouldn't go past his hips. And then it also wouldn't go back the other way. So he was stuck. And we had to bring in a scuba tank and this air drill to chip away a little protrusion of rocks so that we could lift him and twist him and just finesse him out to freedom. So that was kind of exciting. And finally, here's some kind of inexperienced campers, I guess. They didn't have actual camping gear, so instead of a backpack, they took their stuff in a suitcase, which they got tired of and eventually just threw down the mountain. And instead of sleeping bags, they had a blanket, which got wet, and this guy got pretty sick. And but we got up to him, and we made him walk down because we needed him to stay warm. We needed him to generate some heat for himself as he walked. So there are a few stories. Oh, I got one more for you. This is on Christmas Day once. Some hunters went hunting and got lost in the fog and couldn't find the channel that leads way back up to the boat ramp. So we went and found them and brought them back. And luckily, with those dry suits, we were completely warm. Cold weather didn't bother us at all. And I've even written up a bunch of these stories in this book, 75 Search and Rescue Stories. And, being a part of a team is a great experience. And helping people out can be really rewarding. And that's something I think all of you guys can identify with very well. And if this looks like your kind of thing, then I know you would make fabulous search and rescue members. So please, I hope you'll get in touch when you're 21. But that's a long time away. And I need your help before then. In fact, I really need your help right now. Because there are people all around you right now who are hurt and cold and lost. And my team and I, we can't save them all. But with your help, we can at least make a good start. There's one thing that's even better than finding someone stuck between cliff bands or hurt or lost or in trouble and bringing them down and saving the day, and that is to prevent the emergency in the first place. And one of the best ways to prevent emergencies is to carry with you the 10 essentials. You've probably heard of that. It includes things like extra food and water and clothing, headlamp with extra batteries, map and compass. But I'm actually not going to talk about the 10 essentials today because I don't want you to just survive in the wilderness. I want you to thrive in every aspect of your life all the time. And to do that, to be happy and successful and confident, you don't need 10 essentials. You only need one. So let me tell you what that single thing is that will help you to thrive better than anything else you can possibly possess. It's free, it's fun, it feels really good. You can carry it with you everywhere you go, and you'll be the envy of all you meet. That one thing is to love yourself. And I need you to do that, and I need you to do it really well and set an example for people around you. Now, just like carrying the 10 essentials, it's a pretty simple thing to do, but it's also easy to forget. And that's a problem because there are some pretty sophisticated forces out there in the world that are doing their best to do you harm. And if they get the best of you, they can leave you hurt, sick, stuck, cold, and lost. Let me share some examples of these threats, and I'll put them in context of 4 aspects of human nature that they affect: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Now, the most obvious one is the attack against your body, so let's start there. Loving your physical nature means caring for yourself properly with adequate food, sleep, and exercise. And if you do this, your body will reward you with health and vigor, and you will be able to enjoy some of life's best pleasures, like watching the sun rise from almost 12,000 feet on top of Timpanogos. Great experience. If you don't care for your body, however, then you're going to be kind of like the kid who walked off the trail, right? Who wasn't watching where she was going. And kind of like the guy who slid down the mountain with his crampons on and broke his leg in half. And kind of like the guy who fell 50 feet and landed on his face. You're going to hurt. And the damage you do to yourself could last you for the rest of your life. So take care of yourself. Also remember to love your body, because no matter what shape you may be in, if you love it, it'll motivate you to take better care of yourself. It doesn't matter what kind of shape you're in, that it's not perfect, because it's yours, and you have every right and even an obligation to love it. Unfortunately, you will face some resistance, because the multi-billion-dollar marketing industry works day and night to make sure that you feel like your body is not good enough, just so you'll buy their products and make them rich. They fill the television and the internet with beautiful cars and beautiful models who are photoshopped, of course, but they're having a lot more fun than you. And they're trying to make you discontent with all the things that you don't have yet. So don't fall for these sophisticated lies. Practically nobody looks like this, thank goodness, that looks uncomfortable, in real life. And even if you do, don't fall for the lie that being attractive and desired for your beauty or anything else external like possessions or titles, anything less than your very soul will ever make you secure and happy, because it won't. Even if you happen to be drop-dead gorgeous, and people literally die of heart attacks every day as they walk by you and catch a momentary glimpse of your angelic face and tight ass, you still need to love yourself, just like everybody else. Nothing in the world can fill that gap. Just like an upside-down boat won't help you go water skiing. And no amount of bright yellow paint and low-profile tires can replace the need for a tank full of gas if you want to be good for anything more than just being looked at, which is so boring and pointless and pathetic compared to stepping onto the racetrack of life and hitting the gas. The engine roars and the tires squeal and wind whips through the air, and you can't wipe that silly smile from your face if you tried. And that is living, and that is thriving. And that's the only thing you want, I think. So make sure and love yourself, because loving yourself and your body is the only way to get there. The next way to love and protect yourself is to love your mind, your mental nature, which again means enjoying it and taking proper care of it, which means exercising it and feeding it only healthy content. But you're going to experience some resistance here too, because those same marketers that are trying to convince you that you can't be loved without their product because you're too ugly or something, unless you buy their brand of jeans or car, they're trying to talk you into the fact that all you really need to do to be happy is to relax. Just kick back and just enjoy and be entertained and not really do anything. They would like nothing better than for you to endlessly consume their convenient products that don't require much effort on your part. And if you buy into their propaganda, then you'll end up kind of stuck, just like the kid in the cave whose friends helped him get through a tight spot into a tighter spot. Or the guys who decided, it was a good idea to down climb the 200-foot cliff with some 33-foot ropes. And your life will eventually, the progress will just slow to a crawl, if that, and you'll wonder why nothing feels quite satisfying anymore. Because the truth is, your brain was built for something much more than just passively consuming entertainment. Your brain is the world's ultimate problem-solving machine, and it loves nothing better than to learn and to figure things out. In fact, did you know that that's what makes jokes funny? That's why you laugh. Because your brain all of a sudden processes this punchline, which is double meanings, paradox, and surprise, and all that processing that just happens so fast feels so good to your brain that you actually laugh out loud. And that's the truth. Let me show you a couple of examples so you can observe your brain in action. Here's one. I hate Russian dolls. They're so full of themselves. Here's another. If life gives you melons, you're probably dyslexic. See how good that feels? So learn that lesson. It feels good to think and use your brain. Expand your comfort zone. A lot of people hate homework and hate hard stuff, and sometimes it is a little hard at first. But if you love your brain, then you'll make it think anyway, and you'll expand your capacity. Your comfort zone will get so big that nothing makes you uncomfortable, and that is one of the greatest secrets of success that you can have. Perhaps even more important is to keep the trash out of your brain. So, for example, never dwell on negative thoughts about yourself. Instead, be your own best friend. And a best friend would never tell you you're stupid or ugly or that your mom's minivan sucks. So don't say it to yourself either. Instead, accept yourself as you are. Always see the best in yourself, because that is what love does. Ignore the little doubts and fears that you may have about any tiny imperfections or mistakes. Anybody who teases you for every single error you maybe make is just insecure. They're trying to divert attention away from themselves onto you because they're afraid other people are going to be critical of them. So don't take their criticism seriously. And now for how to properly love your heart, your emotional state. The resistance you'll discover here comes from people who don't understand love. I call them the ego police. And these are the kind of people who say things like, well, you seem to have a pretty good opinion of yourself, don't you? As if that was a bad thing. If everybody had a good opinion of themselves, a high opinion, this world would be a much better place. We'd all be a lot happier and more successful. I wish they would. The ego police don't understand the difference between love and pride, simply because since they don't love themselves, they don't have a point of reference. And so their hearts have grown cold, kind of like these inexperienced hikers that got wet and suffered when the snowstorm came as a result. And by the way, when you get cold, when hypothermia sets in, you stop thinking seriously. So if they tell you it's wrong to love yourself, remember, they are not thinking very clearly. When your emotional nature grows strong, when you love it, then you get confident enough that you don't need to hide behind the mask of sarcasm, for example, which is often so prevalent. These people, they hide their true feelings so no one can hurt them, but you'll quickly realize that being real is way more fun. But there's a lot of peer pressure sometimes to be sarcastic and not real and hide your true feelings, isn't there? It's kind of like being stuck in a river. And being stuck in a river is hard to get out of, partly because as the river flows down, it has rocks on the bottom. That creates friction and pressure, and that pressure pushes the water out to the outside of the river, and it pushes everything back into the middle. So it's kind of hard to escape. So you be the kind of person offering that hand and helping people get out of rivers like that. Don't tease people. Be real, and even if sometimes they make fun of you for being happy and for loving yourself, they'll eventually come around because they'll see what you have and they'll admire it and they'll want to be as happy as you are. Loving yourself is kind of like having a warm, waterproof, dry suit. So no matter what storms kind of come your way, they don't really affect you. If nobody likes your Facebook status or you get picked last for the dodgeball team or fail a chemistry test, it doesn't really matter because you've got plenty of warmth coming from the inside, and that's what you need to survive. Finally, the fourth aspect of loving yourself is loving your spiritual nature. Now, there are so many approaches to this that I won't tell you which way is best for you. Just realize that you have a sense of identity that runs deeper than the surface, what shows on the surface. So seek to get acquainted with that. Religion and meditation and peaceful hikes through nature, as long as you bring the 10 essentials with you, are great ways to do that. So whatever you like, give that a try. They can all be effective to advance along that path. And as you do, you'll appreciate the peace and guidance that add meaning and purpose and other qualities to your life that you can't even yet begin to appreciate. Enemies of your spirit will tell you that fun and pleasure and prestige are the only ways to be great and the only worthwhile pursuits. But without their inner compass working, they'll eventually feel lost themselves. In contrast, you'll develop a brilliant light that shines from your eyes, you probably already have that, and turns the world around you indescribably beautiful. This will make you happier, more attractive, more successful, and everything else that naysayers are trying to get, but you're going about it in a far more effective way. Spirituality also means sensing the connection between all people. From the non-loving point of view, life is a competitive game of winners and losers. But you don't need to be better than anyone else. If life is a game or a competition, you understand that everyone is on the same side. We all sink or swim together. We all benefit from one another's successes. So let's give each other a hand instead of putting anyone down. And did you know that is the actual true test of greatness? When your success, like us carrying these people off the mountain, results in other people's success following as well. So let's quickly recap everything we've covered about the one essential. First, loving yourself is required to thrive. Second, loving yourself means caring for your needs, celebrating and enjoying your life, and resisting pressures to doubt your fabulousness. Third, people who don't love themselves get stuck, hurt, cold, and lost, and they need your shining example to reverse this trend. It may take time, may take years to completely learn to love yourself perfectly, but making the decision right now that you're going to do that and stay dedicated to it is the crucial first step. And if you ever doubt yourself, at least remember that everybody in this room has complete confidence in you, and you're surrounded by some pretty smart people with some pretty good judgment. In closing, let me share with you the one secret to loving yourself and the test to know if you're really, really doing it right. You know you love yourself when you don't need any reason or justification to prove that you are worthy of love. It's not because you're smart, even though you are, and that's wonderful. It's not because you're attractive, even though you are, and that's nice. It's not because you're talented or rich or nice or even because you're great kids, which you are, but that's all extra credit. It's all over and above the requirements. You already had an A. You love yourself simply because you are you, and loving yourself is your job. Nobody can do it for you. Nobody except you. I bet you have no idea how truly great you are and just how much difference you make in the world. And I admire your greatness. I respect you for the difference that your example makes around you. I love you for the better world that you create all around you because I live in that world too. And on behalf of everyone in this room tonight, and everyone in your schools, in your homes, neighborhoods, and in your futures who you'll affect, thank you for being such good kids, and may you love yourselves forever.
Thank you so much, Shaun, for that great message. You know, I'm an avid outdoors person, backpacking, snowshoeing, mountain biking, all that stuff, so I'm afraid I may end up on that screen someday. I hope not.